following is a production of Watlington Shires and Pierce Productions.
So many things get started at Pizzeria. You start your party off with a pizza from the pizzeria. You get your celebration started. You get your season started. For a lot of us, our passion with pizza started at the pizzeria, a tradition since 1960s. It's the Pizzeria just off the square in Center.
Hey, good evening, folks, and welcome here to the Pizzeria, and it is time for some basketball talk, and we're going to definitely do that here. Let me get a little bit more into the screen, but we got some football to talk first. I know we got some coaches on the way down here. We've already got the pepperoni pizza out here ready for them, and I've already had my awesome pizza, as I always do, and my salad here tonight at the Pizzeria, which is always so good, and I highly recommend the wings, also the cheesecake, also the lasagna, also the chicken spaghetti. Anyway, you know what I'm getting to. The great food here, all up and down the menu at the Pizzeria. And my favorite too, the buffalo wings are awesome as well. All right, so we're going to start off talking a little bit about some football here as we're getting ready to wrap up the football season for most of the Piney Woods. But we still got one team that we're definitely going to be talking about and getting ready to go for as we get into the rest of the week here, and I am fortunate enough to be able to go to the game, and actually going to be riding on to the fan bus. I've reserved a seat on the fan bus from Joaquin to ride down there. I think that would be a really cool trip for me, so I'm looking forward to that on Thursday to ride down there with the fans and then be there with Brett and the guys ready for the ball game. And talked to Brett the other day. He's excited. I'm excited. I know the guys had a little bit of some difficulty at the first part of last week's game, and I can totally understand. I've been there, and sometimes whenever you don't get the opportunity to do everything you need necessarily to set things up the right way, sometimes things can go a little awry. So I know that all the guys there, they definitely want to put on a great broadcast, and they did the best they could to get it on there as best they could. And it was good to get there, cause especially the second half, because that was the one that we really wanted to see, where the Joaquin Rams came out there and took care of business and were able to beat a very good Honey Grove team there. And we're going to talk about that and the win over Shelbyville as well, and the Shelbyville season, and a bunch of good things coming up here on the way. We're at the Pizzeria. We're going to talk some basketball. We're going to go through all the teams that done a little bit of basketball already. And I think Coach Wager is on his way down here from Shelbyville. And maybe there's a new girls coach there for the Lady Dragons, and we're going to see if Coach Harrington is going to come down here and hang out with us as well, as we're having kind of our basketball preview show here at the Pizzeria. We'll be right back here on NetSN.
Sparky D's Bargain Store. Who are we? We're an online auction store on Facebook. Find our page on Facebook. There you'll find a post for our weekly auction. If you find an item you like, place your bid and you could be a big winner and save yourself lots of money. We're on Facebook only for our weekly auctions. We're located in Center, Texas. Check us out on Facebook. It's Sparky D's Bargain Store, where we will save you more.
Nobody wants to be sick, but at least at Aurora Concepts, being sick is easy. From their spacious waiting room to their experienced and friendly staff, they care about you. They listen to you. They're here for you. From start to finish, that's the experience at Aurora.
Wright Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram in Center has the new and used vehicles that you're looking for. If your vehicle needs service, stop by WrightChryslerDodgeJeep.com and get your service appointment, and also shop online. Then come on down and let the guys make a great deal for you. And our knowledgeable staff will not let you leave without knowing everything about your new or used vehicle. Wright Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram supports all the students of the Piney Woods.
All righty, folks, we're back here as well. Let's talk a little bit about football season here as it get wrapped up for most of the teams here in the Piney Woods area, and the Joaquin Rams still rolling on. And we're definitely going to talk about them and that game that is coming up here on Thursday. They'll be down there in Shenandoah at the Wood Forest Bank Stadium is where they're going to be. I believe that's where they were at last year whenever it was Ganado and Timpson. I believe we called that game down there. Shires, Wallington, and myself called that game down there that night, and that was a big win there for the Timpson Bears over the Ganado Indians. And I got to get it right because I've heard Ganado and I heard Ganado, so I want to make sure I get it right. I don't want to disrespect the team at all. The Indians are a very good football team, but definitely, like I said, we're going to talk a little bit about that coming up. But let's go back to a couple of weeks here. The Shelbyville Dragons and the Joaquin Rams in one of the biggest games in this area here, if you ask me, in a long, long time. And the tailgating and all the good fun that was going on down there in Henderson that day was just phenomenal. I went down there and I heard some of the security guards saying they had seen some NFL tailgates that looked like what was going on down there. The two communities had a good time with each other, giving a little bit of ribbon back and forth. And, the Joaquin Rams played one heck of a game. They did what they had to do. They pretty much, did everything that they needed to do to win that ball game that day. And so it was congratulations to them. And the Shelbyville Dragons had themselves one heck of a great season. They've got some great young men that are coming back, and I talk about RW3. If he's doing the things that he's talking about, he's going to be doing whenever he comes back. He's going to be somebody that everybody across state better be ready to watch out for that young man. He's going to be good. A lot of young men that are coming back there for the Dragons going to be a really good squad as well. Same thing for the Timpson Bears. They're rebuilding too, and I've seen some of their 5th and 6th grade kids play some football this year. And yeah, the Bears are definitely going to be good in there. Garrison always, Coach Alvarez, and they do a great job over there. They always reload. And Joaquin, they're just going to keep rolling on, and they're having themselves one heck of a season. So great Piney Woods football. San Augustine, Coach Barnes, Coach Bragg, and the West Sabine Tigers down there too. I tell you, it's just great football all the way up and down. A lot of teams made the playoffs here, and it's just so crazy the way. Joaquin was at first there and then ended up at 4th, and everybody said, well, they're a 4 seed. Well, you didn't really know what happened here in the Piney Woods. All those teams on the other side over there, they don't really know that all 4 of those teams really could have been a number 1 seed as you go all the way through the thing. So, it could have went any way all the way last week of the season. And that's what people need to realize, that Joaquin really wasn't a 4 seed. They could have been a 1 seed just as well as a 4 seed there. So all those teams were available there too, but the Rams are still rolling on. So let's talk about a little bit about last week whenever the Rams were able to take on Honey Grove. And Honey Grove came out there and they have themselves, one great running back and a great quarterback themselves. And a lot of folks had Honey Grove picked to go a long way. And I got to cover Honey Grove last year whenever in Athens, whenever they played Timpson. And I saw what they had coming up, and I knew they were going to be good this year, and they're still going to be good next year because Morris, I think, was only a junior this year. So I think he's going to be coming back. So he's got some great talent there as well. Honey Grove is a really good football team, but I think Coach Jones and his squad did an excellent job about really taking Raheem Morris out of the ballgame. He had a couple of big runs there in that second quarter to kind of get them on the board and get them going. Thought a little bit of momentum was going to be that way, but Coach Jones and his squad, they just did an excellent job shutting that down, doing what they do, played their offense, and Brown has just done an excellent job there at quarterback. And just taking care of business right there. I just can't say enough about the team because they're looking at all kinds of different ways to run the ball. You got Hardison that'll run it. Then you got Hawkins that'll run it there too. They did a lot with those 2 young men. Then you got Donald Jordan. You got Tate Bass, all those guys. And I even called. We were sitting there watching the game, and we had a chat with the NSN guys. And I was like, look for Rios. And then that's whenever they tried the 4th down fake punt thing. And it was almost there, and so it was really good. And I really enjoyed watching the Rams last week. And I'm not going to miss this game here because I talked to my NetSN guys, and we talked about where the game was and everything like that. And I said, and Brett says, hey, we got the game. You want to be there? And I'm like, yes, I definitely want to be there. So headed down to Shenandoah and actually got a seat reserved on the fan bus. I thought it'd be really cool to ride the fan bus down there. So I got a seat reserved on the fan bus. Going to ride down there with all the good folks, do the game, and then come on back home. But to talk a little bit about the game here, I think, let's go to Ganado, the Indians. Let's start the Indians till I make sure I get it right on what to call those guys. But with the Indians, looking at them and just checking out stats and things like that, they might have a little bit better of a passing game, sort of like what Shelbyville had. So that may be really comparable for what the Rams are looking at. They also have a good running game, just like what Honeygrove did. But I think that the Rams have kind of seen everything except the Indians. They really do have some good firepower out there. But what's going to have to happen is I think they're going to try to run the ball, and as long as the Rams can make them one-dimensional, to where they have to pass the ball a whole lot more, I think that the Rams in the secondary can play really good in the back half back there, and get their quarterback out of his rhythm. That's what they've been really, really good doing here on the defensive side. If they can do that, then I really think that they can take it to the Indians and make it really tough on them to go through. But the Indians probably going to be able to try to throw the ball a little bit more. They got a really good quarterback back there, just like DJ Barnes. So that's kind of what I think that the Joaquin Rams are going to be looking at when it comes to the Indians coming up here on Thursday. It's going to be a little bit chilly and going to be a nice night. It's going to be outside. But it will be a chilly night. So I think it'll still be a good night for football. I don't think you have to worry about too much as far as the weather goes, as what I've seen so far. I think most that's going to come in later on. But it's just going to be a good game. And I'm really looking forward to being able to be a part of the call on that game, too. And Coach Jones and the Rams have done an excellent job. And the crowd down there has just been really, really good, too. So it's going to be a lot of fun. But that's kind of the way I'm looking at the things that are going to go down. For this week, that's what the Rams got to do. They just got to keep doing what they've been doing. I mean, just run the ball, take the time off the clock, be methodical, watch the penalties. Don't give them anything cheap and free. They're going to be those short kicks there on the kickoffs. He's been doing that quite a bit. Just make sure that you cover up. And, hey, just stay ahead of the chains. That's one good thing there. And I think Coach Jones and his team has got it really going on. They play really well. They got a good guys up front, both sides of the ball. And I think that they can take it to the Indians. I think they're going to be a little bit bigger than the Indians are as well. So that's going to be a very good thing here for the Joaquin Rams. Waiting on that other side over there, there's a couple good teams over there too. But, hey, I think I like the Joaquin Rams' chances because they're coming in here. And like I said, most of the other states, except for everybody over here, we all know who they are. And we know that they're better than a 4 seed. And a lot of people are just taking them for a 4 seed. So Coach Jones says that's what everybody thinks. Then let them think that. We're just going to go out there and play ball, and we're going to show them that we're not. And by the end of the day, hopefully we're 1-0 and just keep moving on. So that's the way the kind of Rams got to look at it right there. So that's the way it's going to go. That's Thursday, Woodforest Bank Stadium there in outside of Houston on the north side from where I was raised. And so that's kind of where that ball game is going to be. So we'll be there on Thursday night. I think 7:30 is broadcast time for that on the NFHS network. All right, so that's what we'll be with that. Okay, so and great season by everybody up and down the line too. I think that everybody had a good season. I mean, even St. Augustine, they had a chance to make the playoffs there right at the end. They could have kept Timpson out of there. That's how crazy and awesome this whole district was for the season this year. For these guys up and down the Piney Woods. So it's been a great year. I've been looking forward to next year on the football season. But right now, other than the walk-in game, hopefully there's 2 more walk-in games. But right now we're getting ready for some basketball. We've already covered up some basketball so far this year, so we'll talk a little bit about that. And we think the Shelbyville coaches are going to be here just a bit, so we'll talk some Shelbyville basketball as we will be in Shelbyville tomorrow. Tomorrow night, it will be Shelbyville hosting, the gals will be hosting Coleman Hill, I do believe. It will be Coleman Hill. And then the guys will host Timpson, which will be a great game, and we'll have it right here on NetSN. That is tomorrow night from Shelbyville. So we'll be right back here on the NetSN. We'll talking some basketball.
Serving our communities for over a century, Farmers State Bank continues to meet the financial needs of East and Central Texas. With roots that run deep, Farmers State Bank serves as a source of financial strength to meet the needs of our neighbors. From a comprehensive range of financial products to individual service, we remain dedicated to being a true community bank. Farmers State Bank, improving lives and fulfilling dreams.
Batters Law Firm is your first choice in personal injury law. Jeff Batters and his staff lead the way in the area with Best of Nacogdoches and Best of Lufkin votes over the last several years. If your case matters, it's got to be Batters.
It's as easy as 1, 2, 3 to see why Blake Furniture is the top furniture company in East Texas. Get the lowest prices and discover our easy in-store financing and low payment plans. Plus, get the fastest delivery in East Texas. Get your credit pre-approved online at blakefurniture.com today.
Joaquin Tire in Joaquin, Texas. Family owned and operated with new and used tires, general mechanics, and road services. Jesse and his team is proud to serve the community with car, truck, and commercial and ag vehicle tires. They're located in Joaquin at the 84 and Highway 7 split. Call the shop today to make an appointment at 936-269-9516. That's 936-269-9516. Joaquin Tire is a proud sponsor of Game of the Week. Stop in and see them today for all of your new and used tire needs.
Alrighty, folks, let's talk a little bit of basketball here as we get ready for some Piney basketball. As I said, I got to cover some games already, and a lot of the gals' games so far, and a couple of guys' games in the mix there as well. But so far, it's been some really good basketball here. Got to cover one of the first games I got to cover this year, in which I think that we're going to go through some of the things that where I found out where some of the teams are going to possibly be picked, to finish. But I went over and saw the Timpson Lady Bears take on the Center Lady Rough Riders, and that was when we started off the season. That was a little before Thanksgiving. So we went over there and did that game, and that was a great game. And the Lady Bears of Timpson were able to hang on and get that 1-point victory. They were able to get a good little lead there over the Lady Rough Riders. Lady Rough Riders actually neither team really shot very well from the three-point line that night, but the Lady Rough Riders were able to creep back in there, but the Lady Bears were able to hold on for a 1-point victory. That kind of started our basketball season coverage. And then we went down and we've covered some other games here so far. We also went over and we did the Center Lady Rough Riders welcomed the Central Pollock Lady Bulldogs to town, and they also had some alumni going out there. So what Coach Smith did is he had all the ladies that were available from the district winning teams from 1972 to today. Then he had them out there, and they were recognized for that ball game. And Center Lady Rough Riders played a good game there. Central Pollock, though, very, very good. They were able to pull away there in the end, as the Lady Rough Riders were able to close up that gap there a little bit there. But in the end, the Central Pollock Lady Bulldogs were able to pull out that victory there, as the Lady Rough Riders now getting ready to head into a couple of tournaments before we get ready to get into some more district play, which is coming up here in a couple of weeks. For us tomorrow, we're going to be over in Shelbyville for our first trip to Shelbyville this year. And we're going to be over there, and we're going to start off with a big ball game as the ladies are going to be taking on Colemanville. I believe it's Colemanville or Corrigan Camden. That is the first game, and then the girls, then the guys are after that will welcome the Timpson Bears into town. That should be a good one right there. So we're going to talk to Coach Schwager. He's coming up here in just a little bit and find out how the guys are coming along here, especially after being, just now getting into their basketball day. Is going to take them a little bit to get going here. So let's check on some of these districts, because the districts have really changed around here a little bit here. So District 23 looks like this. It'll be Beckville, Timpson, Garrison, Wascom, Gary, Tenaha, Elysian Fields, and Joaquin. Now in District 24, you have Shelbyville, St. Augustine, Reno, Hemp Hill, Woden, Corrigan Camden, West Sabine, and Colemanville for basketball this year. So it's a totally different than it was last year. And right now, this is the way, it is picked so far. But, things is preseason, and this is just some of the information that we get the way it's picked. And boys for District 23, they have Beckville, Timpson, Garrison, and Wascom to finish in the first 4 spots. And then in District 24 on the guys' side, it is Shelbyville, St. Augustine, Chirino, and Hemp Hill. Now, I don't know much about the Hemp Hill Hornets down there, but I'm definitely going to find out this year, because they're into the district, and we're going to see some of them. So they're going to be a good basketball team. Now, on the girls' side in District 23, they have the Tenaha Lady Tigers picked first, of course, right now. Timpson, Wascom, and Garrison in there. And then on the girls' side, it's Woden, Chirino, West Sabine, and St. Augustine. And I really like that it was St. Augustine there, too, because last year, they really started rolling on. They had a great coach in there, and now a new coach over there in Coach Cloudy. I know he's going to bring some good energy to that squad over there, and they're going to be really good. So the St. Augustine Lady Wolves are sitting in there as well. So this is going to be some interesting basketball as we go on. And right now, it is we'll go through some rankings here. Beckville is ranked number 14 on the guys' side. Timpson is number 22. Shelbyville number 9, St. Augustine number 18. That's the guys are ranking. We on the girls' side, the only one that are ranked here is Tennehaw Lady Tigers. They are 16, and the Torino Lady Owls right now are ranked number 9, and that's according to the Texas Basketball Coaches Association. That's where I get my information from on things like that too. So just some different things here as we go through the season, and let's start off with we got to go over to Tennehaw and covered the Tennehaw game a couple weeks ago, and when I got to see the guys over there as well. And I tell you what, that's going to be a good basketball team over there for the Tennehaw Tigers as they get ready to roll on the season. But where we're going to be here, I was looking for my schedule, so let's go over here and let's see if we can bring that up, because I went ahead and I put together a schedule for us that I wanted to put out there and everybody and kind of see how things are going to go. We're going to be up and down the Piney Woods doing some really good ball games here coming up this year. So looking forward to the schedule. Where did I put that thing here? So we're going to get it's in here somewhere. So I tell you, we're going to be all over the place here when it comes to, if I can get it to come up here. Here we go. So we're going to be all over the place here. We're actually going to be starting off on the 17th. Well, actually tomorrow. Tomorrow is going to be Colemanville girls, and then the guys will go against Timpson. That's in Shelbyville. And then on the 17th, we'll be at West Sabine. This is going to be a good game here. It's going to be a girls-only game, as it'll be Torino and West Sabine. As we said, Torino and West Sabine, both those girls teams are picked there into the middle of their district. So that's a good district game we're going to go on right there. And then we're going to be back in West Sabine on the 20th, as we'll get both girls and guys there. St. Augustine and West Sabine going on right there. And I think the West Sabine guys might be a surprise this year. You got to watch out for those guys. And St. Augustine definitely was really coming on last year. They got themselves into the playoffs. They did a really, really good job there last year. And I think St. Augustine Wolves are really going to be good this year. Coach Randall got them ready to roll and keep them going. I think the Wolves are going to have themselves another great season. Then we'll get to the hoops tournament. Talk to Coach Lewis a little bit today. He's getting the schedule together, and he's going to let us know where other things are going to be for the hoops tournament. Going to be a great time there for that. And then right now it says in Tennehaw, Beckville and Tennehaw, and that's going to be on New Year's Eve at like a 3:30 game. So I'm going to check and make sure that one's still going to go on. But if that's there, that's where we plan on being. Joaquin at Beckville, Garrison at Joaquin, Shelbyville at St. Augustine, Timpson at Tennehaw, Corrigan Camden at Shelbyville, Shelbyville at Torino, Tennehaw at Beckville, Wascom at Timpson, Shelbyville at West Sabine, and St. Augustine at Shelbyville right now to wrap up the season. And then there'll be just a couple of guys games there in the first part of December as we get ready for the girls going into their playoffs, and then the guys wrapping up the regular season. So that's kind of where we are with all of that right now. But a lot of great games are on the way. And like I said, we're going to start off here tomorrow night as the girls will take on the Colemanville and then the guys in Timpson over there in Shelbyville. So we're going to talk a little bit about some of those teams when we come back right now here on NetSN.
Hope Community Medicine is a nonprofit faith initiative with a primary mission of providing quality health care to the people of East Texas, regardless of race, religion, socioeconomic status, or ability to pay. At Hope Community Medicine, they want to be the leading deep East Texas care provider, recognized for their outstanding patient care, innovative technologies, programs, and medicines, as well as a highly motivated and distinguished staff. Hope Community Medicine, founded in faith, focused on family.
At Watson & Sons, their family serves your family. It begins with their facilities, their inviting and warm chapel, and their elegant lobby, and their unique product room where you can shop for the choices your tribute requires. They've been serving your family at Watson & Sons since Scott built it in 1998, but their family has been serving you for over a century.
Hey, y'all got a dirty truck.
Well, then take it to Joe's Car Spa for a spa day.
At Joe's, they make 'em shine.
And they're standing by to work with the community.
They was elected best of Shelby County this year, and it's called Joe's, but it probably ought to be called Reed, since Reed Grant owns it.
So, Billy Don, when it's time for your car or truck to have a spa day, where do you take it?
I don't know where.
At Shelby Savings Bank, the same thing that's true at the Selma Street location is true at the North Branch. It's where banking meets the smile. They're not just friendly tellers, they're your friendly tellers. And the smile on Manager Janet's face, it's contagious. When you say Shelby Savings Bank is your friendly hometown bank, well, you hit it right on the nose.
So many things get started at Pizzeria. You start your party off with a pizza from the pizzeria. You get your celebration started. You get your season started. For a lot of us, our passion with pizza started at the pizzeria, a tradition since 1960s. It's the Pizzeria just off the square in Center.
All right, folks, we're back here, and we're going to talk a little bit about some more basketball, especially some Shelbyville basketball that is on the way. But also, we're going to be talking to the guys from Center. As you know, we have the Rick Meek show, and now it'll be Coach Hiram Harrison show as well. We'll come up and the guys are kind of putting some things together here to wrap up their working schedule and some of the other things that they got going on. So the Rick Meek show, and I think they're going to get started here next week. They definitely want to cover a couple games. I know that the one big game that they really want to get a hold of there, and I think everybody's getting ready for, is Center and Silsbee is going to be here, and I think it's a Saturday afternoon, and I definitely want to be there to check that out as well. So we'll see how that goes. And yeah, come on over, Coach, if you're ready. Come on in here. We got Coach Wager coming over here, hanging out with us from the Shelbyville Dragons, and let him get on some headset there. Coach, how's it going?
Oh man, it's going.
Going. There you go. And get you a little bit of room in there. All righty. So I know that things are just getting underway here for the Dragons. Had a little bit over the tournament there in Alto, and we'll talk a little bit about that. But how's the guys in after the season now, after the football season, and getting them in the gym and getting those basketball legs is still under process, I'm sure.
Oh, there's no doubt. And, anytime you end one season and roll right to the next one, there's always going to be some transition that takes place.
Right.
And, as of right now, we've practiced 4 times. We've played 4 games.
Oh.
That's never a good thing.
Yeah.
So, things are going, though. We're still missing DJ Barnes. He's a little banged up from football season.
Right.
Should get him back at the end of next week. And missing another one of our post players, Aiden Shields. But some of these younger guys in the tournament, we saw some really good things that I think we can build off of moving forward. That's really going to help us out down the stretch. So things are moving right along. There's growing pains with everything, but hopefully, we're going to get it figured out. Come playoff time in February.
Yeah, I definitely think so. And I know you got two very charismatic young men there. They're going to get things rolling, and it's glad that the DJ. I hate to see that he's a little bunged up, but I mean, I understand. But at least he won't be out for most of the season like he was last year. So, but I know John and Geechee are feeling pretty good here coming in here. So they'll have those young guys going out there too, and. Also, Tanner Doggett is another young man that came over, is going to be a part of the squad. So, how's his addition been so far?
Well, he comes from a very different dynamic in the team that he played for in Joaquin, but he's going to be a big piece to our offense, and he's done a really good job rebounding the ball this past weekend.
Right.
But it's going to take some time. That the stuff like that doesn't happen overnight. He's going to have to learn how to, play with different teammates and a different style of play. And so, but it'll all come along in the end.
Right.
But he is going to be a huge asset, and we're going to have 4 guards, with Geechee, John, Tanner, and DJ that are
Right.
going to be really hard to defend night in and night out.
Yeah, because you don't know if you're going to step behind that arc and just launch him out there and start raining the threes on him out there. That's for sure.
Right.
So and also as you're talking about Aiden Shields being out, but he's the tall young man that we were kind of looking for there. With
Right.
some of the great guys that we lost from last year's squad. So those young men are going to be very key for us for the Shelbyville Dragons going through the season.
Sure. Well, I'm eager to get him out on the floor. We'll get him back Friday afternoon, and Saturday he'll make his debut this coming weekend, and we're eager to see what he can kind of bring to the table as far as some of the post play that we graduated from last year, and replacing a guy like Weston Frick and
That's
Dylan
hard.
Parker are never an easy task, but we're hoping he can step up and maybe do some of the things that those guys were asked to do.
All right. Well, and so who are some of the other young guys, maybe off of last year's JV squad, or some of those guys that have made the transition over this year that we can look to see? They're definitely going to be out there. It could be the man off the bench, could be a six man out there, but just some of those young guys that are moving over.
Well, we have returning guys, JD Sewell, and then some guys that were moved up, on the state team last year, William Walden, and really this past weekend, Aiden Swindle, who's a new face that was on the JV last year. He really stepped up and played well
Right.
over the course of the first 4 games. So, and there's also Dallas Murray. He is coming off of a broken leg from football season.
Right.
So he's just now starting to get back in shape after not doing anything for 8 or 9 weeks. So, I asked him a lot. I kind of was messing with him. I told him he was going to end up playing limited minutes this last weekend and ended up playing him, I think, one of the full games. So
Right.
we were kind of poking fun at each other this afternoon about that. But, we should hopefully be 7 or 8 guys deep.
That's good.
And, we've moved up for these tournaments, some of the freshmen
Mhm.
that we think are going to kind of be the future of the program. And just kind of see what they can do, and maybe if they can either help this year or, if not in the future, and get them some, valued varsity experience. So we'll see. We're still trying to find a lineup that works, and we're trying to find guys that mesh together. And, it's going to take us a while to figure it out. But, these games right now aren't super, super important. It's all about getting a feel for each other. Wins and losses don't really mean anything.
Right. Yeah. It's just a matter of getting your game down, getting getting your basketball legs together, coming and being ready for it. Now, I know we'll talk a little bit about here, but I mean, you got a good Timpson squad that's already been working out there on the floor a little bit here. No, they're not in the district here, but that's a good game tomorrow night to kind of give to the guys, though.
Really, yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. I talked to Coach Westbrook today for about 30 minutes. I've known him for a long time, and we're pretty good friends. So,
Right.
it'll be a good one. He's got those guys playing well. A little bit different style for them, with a new coach this year. But, Coach Westbrook, the stuff that he runs offensively is always so hard to scout for, or to scout. But, it should be a good one tomorrow night. I hope our guys come out and play. They've gotten some guys back, with J.J. Gardner that didn't play at all last year. And, he's gotten some guys out that haven't played, got some size in there in the post. And so, we'll see what happens. I'm eager to get the ball thrown up in the air tomorrow night.
Yeah, they're going to be part of a really tough district over there because they've got Beckville, Timpson, Garrison, and Wascom is kind of way they got to pick.
The
But
District of Doom.
yeah, and they also have Tenaha in there, and I don't know much about Legion Fields, but Joaquin still they're not even ready to play basketball on the guys
Right.
over there. So, but yeah, that's going to be a tough one right now. And like I said, I got to see Coach Lewis and the Tenaha Tigers the other day, and they played a Ore City squad. And that were much taller than them. And I tell you, they took to them on some defense. So if Coach Lewis's defense is Krause out there, Tenaha Tigers going to be up there fighting for one of them spots too.
Well, anytime, you have D. Lewis coaching the team, he's going to have those guys ready. He does an unbelievable job. And, especially in year 2, a little bit more familiarity for the guys. And,
Right.
I was there and they look really, really good. So, I'm kind of glad that they're going to go the small school route so we don't have to see
worry
each
about
other.
them.
So it makes it a lot easier for me to root him on, with
Right.
us being so close, with us being in 2 different divisions. So.
There you are. Yeah, and too, speaking of Tenaha, the ladies over there, they took on a very tough Rain squad who was very big and like number 6 in there. And I think it was a really good game, and the ladies had an opportunity there, but they just kind of fell short. But they're still going to be under new coaches this year as well over there for the Lady Tigers, and they're still going to be, a team that is, going to be a force to be reckoned with anybody that they play.
Well, it doesn't matter year in and year out. If you say the Tenaha Lady Tigers, people get a little nervous.
Yeah, exactly. They should. They should definitely. That's it for sure. And and it get me too is checking on this because I'll tell you because I didn't know, but the Woden. And then Torino Lady Owls over there too. They're number 9 over there. So we're going to be covering. I got Torino and West Sabine girls coming up in a week or so. So that's going to be a good one that I'm getting into there. And then we'll be West Sabine and San Augustine and talking about on the guys' side. So West Sabine guys and Coach Williams is still over there, right? And so
Still
he's going to be
yeah.
there. And so, they're going to be good. And I tell you, them San Augustine Wolves are going to be the one to be watching in your rear view because they're coming.
No
They're
doubt.
going to be good.
They're going to be very deep. They have a 9 to 10 guys that are all really long and athletic. And if you're not ready that night, they could run you out of the gym. So that'll be a fun one when we get to play them.
Right. Yeah, I think I scheduled the last game of the year on the guys for the girls. I think it's in Shelbyville, San Augustine, Shelbyville. It's already scheduled down. So that's
There
gonna
you
be
go.
good.
That'll be
And-
a fun one.
Yeah, and another one too. And I knew the Torino guys. They were kind of building it a little bit last year, but they're up there too. So. Tell me a little bit about the Owls because those are some teams. That's the team we're going to cover too, but I just haven't found too much about those guys just yet.
Well, they're under new leadership. Coach Graves left. He's a near dear friend of mine, but watching them on film to start the season, they look really, really good. They're very long, very athletic,
Right.
and can really be a size matchup nightmare, night in and night out for teams if you don't have the guys that can go.
Mm-hmm.
But they've got a couple good guards. They graduated a couple really good guards from last year, but got another guard off the injury that played his first game back in our playoff game. And
Right.
so, they have a good squad. They're about 5 or 6 deep, and being in the gym year round,
Yeah.
since August, you can tell early definitely going to make a huge difference.
Definitely. And another thing I want to ask you about too is the Hemp Hill Hornets. Like I said, I don't know if I've ever covered any of the Hemp Hill squad there, but they look like that they're going to be a team that is going to be up there as well that we'll have to worry about.
Well, anytime you get a team that drops down from 3A to 2A, you never really know what to expect. But I know Coach Parks over there will have those guys ready to play, and he does an unbelievable job, defensively. And so they're a team that's going to be tough to beat in our league.
Right. Yeah, they are. And like I said, it's going to go all kinds of different ways. We got all kinds of great basketball on the way. But I'd like to go back and talk a little bit about what you guys have done so far. Let's go back to the Alto tournament here. That was a good tournament for you guys. You were able to get first win there, but then was the second or third game you guys ran into a 4A squad there and played a good one, but came up on the bottom end.
Yeah, we played Lago Vista, and they had a couple of guys in the post, 6'8", 6'9", and one of them could step out there and shoot the three. So they were really tough. We didn't really match up great with those guys. And so, but our guys played hard, and we shared the basketball and did a lot of things right. And I think it was a tie ball game with about a minute or so to go. And just sometimes the ball doesn't bounce your way,
Right.
and doesn't go in the basket. And so I was proud of them, though. They played really, really hard. And anytime you can take a 4A to the wire, and even if you come up a little bit short, it's still a win, especially early in the season.
Yeah. And especially too, only being a couple of weeks away from the football season there, and just really getting into the gym and getting things working out there. So I know the guys are going to be ready, and you guys are going to be rolling right along. We're going to have a great season here with all the great district action going on. But before I let you go here, I wanted to ask you a little bit about the gals. I know we got a new coach over there. Coach Murray did a really good job. I thought he had those girls really going towards the end of the season. They made the playoffs there at the end of the year, and did they make? Yeah. Yeah, they did. Yeah, they did. I was going to make sure. But they did. And so, I know that they got a bunch of those young ladies come back, and you got a good coach that has stepped in there. So tell me a little bit about Coach Arrington and the ladies, how they've already started off really pretty good, too.
They have. I think they're 9-2 right now, and Coach Harrington's doing an unbelievable job. With not graduating any seniors last year is always a huge advantage when you can bring the entire team back. And he plays a little bit different style. They play really, really fast and try to get as many shots up as they can throughout the game. But I think the girls have taken well to it, and they're being coached right now, and they're doing an unbelievable job between Coach Harrington, Coach Obregon, and Coach Rupp. They're an unbelievable staff assembled, and we'll see what happens to the Lady Dragons down the stretch.
Yeah, and I kind of like it to where maybe because I look here, see St. Augustine, West Sabine, but I kind of like it to where Coach Harrington doesn't think, okay, they're already picked up, so I mean we don't have as much pressure. I could just bring them in and be in the background of it right there. But yeah, if you got Coach Rupp, and I don't know Coach Obregon, but I know his son or her son, that sounds like a good job. But I tell you what, you've got a great staff as well. Coach Osby with you again this year, right?
Yes, and we've made a new addition to the staff this year.
Oh yeah, I wanted to ask you about that. So I don't know about this guy, though.
Yeah. So we made the decision that we were going to make a hire this summer that was already in house, and he just happens to be our athletic director and head football coach, Coach Wallace.
Okay, there we go. So is he the strength and conditioning of the basketball?
He's kind of a jack of all trades. He does a little bit of everything. He brings energy. He covers for me when I screw up, and so he's there. He's really good. So I'm excited to have him on the bench.
I can really, because I know what kind of a great motivator he can be. Because I saw him at the state championship game whenever we were there too. But yeah, anytime I needed something, like I've already asked him, hey coach, we need to get an Ethernet cable there in the gym for us, and I think he's getting that worked out. So we're gonna see if we can get that done. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be such a great basketball season. I know we had a great one last year, and now all the district changed around, and we got a lot of awesome games we're going to be able to cover up and down the line. And there's just going to be, it's almost like, Coach, you were part of the football coaching staff there for the Dragons, and this basketball season, it doesn't matter if you're in 23 or 24. you better be ready to play whenever it comes out because, this is, like you said, the district. I was going to ask District of Doom which one. And, I mean, yeah, it'll be 1 and 2 if you look at it.
Right. There's a lot of good basketball in this area, and on any given night, if you don't show up, you can be beaten. There's not really any slouches in our league, especially in that other league that we came out of. And so a lot of good basketball. And I think it prepares you. I think we were well prepared down the stretch, when we made our playoff run last year, that some of those games in district play that we really had to grind out, the Timpsons, the Beckvilles, the Garrisons, all of that made us better down the stretch.
Right. Yeah, definitely did. And, too, maybe we can talk real quickly here before we let you go. But I want to ask a little bit because that's always the question here has been I've had a couple times, the difference between the big school and the little school and how did that break down? If you maybe a quick explanation of how that can work, and so folks might know a little bit.
Big school, small school, when you're at a small school, everybody plays everything. I didn't have a single, well, with the exception of a couple, kids that were in off season that played basketball that didn't play football. So, you're not starting anything until the previous sport's over. And it's a good problem to have. You run into some injury problems here and there, but for the most part, for small towns to be really, really good, everybody has to play everything and it's all hands on deck. And so when you get around a staff, that I'm around now, that everybody cares about each other and each head coach of a sport wants everyone else to do good as well, then that's really what makes small schools go. Because, I've been at places before where there was a lot of selfishness. The football coach might be selfish of his guys. The baseball coach might be selfish of his guys. And, and I promised myself a long time ago I was never going to be that guy and always support what sport's in season and never try to talk kids out of not playing, that sport because, when the boat's all rowing in the same direction and you got people, all with the same goal in mind, you can do anything.
Right. Yeah, and I know that there's going to be a separation of that here whenever it comes to playoff time, and I guess that just kind of depends on the enrollment of the school and how that goes there. But there'll be kind of a little bit different when it looks out, and maybe a difference in the regional tournament and some of the way that things go down there. But it's still going to be great all the way through. It's still going to be about the same amount of games, just going to look a little bit different on the journey. So that's about the way it looks out there.
Sure.
Right? All right, Coach. Well, I'll tell you what, we need to get Harrington down here. We need to get Bragg down here too, and from West Sabine, and maybe even get Parks and all those guys. I'd like to get everybody down here when we get a chance. I know it's a long trip up here to Center. Who knows? Maybe we can make up a trip down there to the Boondocks and maybe have some steak or something one day.
That sounds good. Well, Coach Harrington, I'm going to say this live for everybody to see so he can go back and see this. Well, Coach Harrington has promised me that he is coming next Monday.
Okay, there we go.
All right, he had something come up tonight where he couldn't be here, but he promised me he is coming next Monday night, and I'm going to hold him to it.
Okay, that's cool. There we go. And we need to get Wallace back down here too, just to talk a little bit about some things. But I'm looking forward to that. And also too, I know we're at the pizzeria, but the good folks at Diamond Bee Cafe, we did the breakfast with the linemen down there. Now they'd like to do something a couple times a month with the basketball guys, if that's okay. I'm sure we can figure something out. I'm sure we can talk those guys into that for sure.
It may have to be 10 if we get home too late, but I like my sleep.
Yeah, that's all. I'm with you. Like I said, we can make it a brunch. It doesn't matter to me.
Sounds good.
All right, Coach. Well, good luck to you and the guys.
Yes,
we'll see you tomorrow night. Okay, let's see. The Coleman Hill girls at 5.
Our JV boys are going to play at 5, and then followed by Coleman Hill and JV boys at 5, Coleman Hill and our girls following, and then the varsity boys after that against Timpson.
All right, so we're looking to be on the air right about 6 o'clock tomorrow night for the girls and Coleman Hill folks in Shelbyville, and then Timpson and Shelbyville on the guys' side. That's going to be a great, great game. So good luck to you and the guys, Coach. And before we go,
go Dragons.
There we go. All right, we're going to get out of here, folks. Hope everyone has an awesome, blessed, wonderful night. Thank you to the pizzeria. They're getting ready for their Christmas party here. I may stick around for that. We'll see how that goes. But have a great night, everybody. We'll see you tomorrow night for some basketball here on NetSN.
The proceeding was a presentation of Watlington, Shires, and Pierce Productions. We hope you have an awesome and blessed night. God bless America. God bless our troops. And God bless each and every one of you.